Welcome to the M Group's media channel, Behind the Curtain. This is the show that discusses the intersection of marketing and technology and how businesses can position their brands for the digital future. I'm Sarah Harrell, along with Janessa Meyer. Here with us today is David Williams. David is a senior strategist advisor with Microsoft, and David was a part of the recent product launch of Windows 7. Today's topic is on touch technology, specifically how Windows 7 is changing the way people interact with digital content. So David, Windows 7 is obviously the new operating system from Microsoft. So can you tell us a little bit about why this operating system trumps what's been possible in the past?
Yeah, Windows 7 brings forward a number of technologies, and it's a convergence really of technologies that will change the bar around user experience. So on a tactical level, this comes in terms of performance and security are the fundamental building blocks, but more so it brings together new experiences like multi-touch, facial gesture recognition, and voice abilities. Now you combine that with rich video abilities that are in the underpinnings of the technology, and it gives a new canvas for companies and developers to realize a new generation of solutions.
Very, very cool. So what are the key features then of Windows 7? In fact, what is the single feature the operating system should be known for?
Well, I think people will recognize first and foremost its user experience, both in the ability to personalize it, but with these new capabilities, it will create a new generation of applications that are very much unlike the applications that have preceded us in the past decades. I think for the consumer, the mass appeal, I think multi-touch, as that becomes a mass capability, will be a differentiator in how both web applications, client applications, and even mobile applications are developed in the future.
And can you give us an example, perhaps, of how businesses might use this touch experience to enhance, their sales proposition?
Sure. Multi-touch opens quite a new paradigm in terms of design. I think a key aspect of it is there is the opportunity to create much more interactive and intuitive interfaces that have been possible in the past with just the keyboard and mouse metaphors for interaction. Multi-touch also starts to open the door around collaboration. So if you have a multi-touch environment, people can begin interacting and collaborating directly over a shared experience, whether they're shoulder to shoulder or whether they're having this shared experience online from different geographic locations.
And so what is your experience when a consumer is touching and engaging? What kind of, how does that resonate within them in terms of the marketing message or selling the product?
One thing that we've seen in the development of multi-touch apps over the last couple of years is that multi-touch apps can be more intuitive if designed well, but more importantly, people have a tendency to engage, to actually put hands on and begin to explore. And it kind of opens up the door to curiosity and exploration, whereas formal interfaces of the past that were full of buttons and menus and hierarchies and tabs tended to be more intimidating, and people tended to have a hands-off. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to stick to what I know. Multi-touch seems to break down barriers, and people tend to explore and see what happens if I interact with this. So.
Wonderful. Well, with touch capabilities already showcased in Surface, then, what benefits does Windows Touch bring to the business?
Well, Windows Touch probably is going to change a little bit of the relationship that you look for with your customer. First of all, you're looking to have this engaging experience. You're looking to not only inform and transact with, but you're looking to entertain. And so that's an opportunity for people to have, I think, a richer experience with your brand. In addition, I think it changes the kind of solution you might look to put in the marketplace. So for example, instead of always trying to drive people to only your website, you can also look at having a multi-touch experience in their own homes, because now this technology will be available on their own personal devices. And so that brand experience that you create, that you offer potentially through your stores or your systems or your websites, now continue right through to an individual's home or on their personal devices.
So how do you think Windows 7 will revolutionize the existing digital age for the future in business? You mentioned a bit about the consumer experience, perhaps specific to business.
Yeah, I think they've said for a number of years that multi-touch has completely revolutionized design. You can no longer design the way you have in the past. So for businesses, I think this is technologies like Windows 7 bring that paradigm shift to every person. Every person's personal device, whether it's their laptop, potentially their mobile phone, potentially the web application you're interacting with, all have a new level of engagement now. So businesses have to kind of rise in their brand strategy, both in terms of how they market, how they build solutions, and how they build connected solutions across those different experience points, such that that brand experience is consistent.
Let's talk a little bit about what does the cloud figure into Windows 7 release?
Well, several things. The cloud on its own merits represents probably two large value propositions. There is a cost aspect to it, which is attractive to businesses, and that cost is a cheaper barrier both for entry, so that could be a speed to market enabler, as well as it's an enabler around scale and reach. So for companies in the past that needed to innovate, they would bear the burden of the initial upfront capital costs of having to build something from the ground up. In today's world of the cloud, both in terms of infrastructure and services, much of the capabilities already exist. We're talking about using something and paying just for the use of it. Then they can magnify and extend that capability through the reach of the cloud, and an offering that might have been just local or regional could be international overnight through the deployment capabilities of the cloud. Now, where Windows 7 relates to the cloud is that Windows 7 and the development tool sets around Windows 7 are built to work in conjunction with the cloud. So the ability to integrate services, the tool sets used to integrate services are all a part of the vision of Windows 7.
Well, then give us an idea how Windows 7 fits in then with other new product releases from Microsoft, such as IEB, Windows Mobile, 6.5, etc.
Yeah. What Windows 7 is, it's another in a series of releases that really marks convergence. And what the convergence is, it's convergence of user experience. And so what you see is people talk about a 3-screen or a 4-screen strategy. And those screens are potentially your laptop, desktop, your mobile device, a web experience, and even an in-home experience, which could be like your television of the future. Windows 7 is another step forward in saying you can invest in a platform of technology where those investment assets and those user experiences and those brand experiences can be experienced across all of those channels.
Terrific. David, I want to thank you for joining us, and thanks to all of you for joining us for interviews, discussions, and conversations to let the outside world peek a little bit behind the M Group curtain to learn about our thinking within the agency. Certainly, if you have any questions or comments, please send us a note at themgroupcreative.com. Thanks again, David.
All right, thank you, sir.
Join us next time for a dialogue on Sir Arthur Williams Scott on Content as King.